After 10 minutes in the bath, your fingertips start doing tiny raisin cosplay. But the weird part is this: they are probably not just getting soggy and giving up. I like to picture one little fingertip floating in the tub, then zooming in until it becomes a wobbly mountain road map, with a confused road crew standing around holding signs that say, "Soggy?" and "Wait for signal." Welcome back to Tidbits, because today that wrinkly bath mystery turns out to be less sponge damage and more nervous system roadwork. Tiny blood vessels narrow, the skin buckles into ridges, and your hands may briefly get their own wet weather traction. The obvious explanation is tempting because, yes, water is touching your skin, and the top layer can absorb some of it. Fingertips and toes have tougher, thicker skin than, say, your forearm, so they are excellent little places for water to mess with. If this were a sketchbook panel, the sponge mascot would puff up dramatically beside the fingertip, very proud of itself, and then get politely crossed out with a margin note, "Not the whole story." Because if soaking alone caused the wrinkles, every waterlogged finger should wrinkle in basically the same way. They do not. Rude to the sponge, but scientifically useful. Here is where the bathtub turns into a detective story. Wrinkling depends on working nerves. Doctors have even used water wrinkling tests as a rough, old-school clue for nerve function in fingers. If certain nerves are damaged, a finger may wrinkle less, or sometimes barely wrinkle at all, even after sitting in warm water long enough to make you question your life choices. So our little road crew finally gets its telegram: water detected. And suddenly this is not just bathtub chemistry happening to helpless skin, it is an instruction being sent through the body. Once that signal arrives, the sympathetic nervous system gets involved, which is the same general automatic system that handles things you do not personally schedule, like sweating, goosebumps, and pupils changing size. Under the skin of your fingertip, tiny blood vessels constrict. Vasoconstriction, if you want the charcoal caption word. The vessels tighten, there is a little less volume under the surface, and the outer skin has to deal with that change by folding. Smooth pad becomes ridges and valleys. In road crew terms, somebody has tightened drawstrings under the mountain road, and the asphalt has buckled into grooves, with arrows in the margin. Vessels narrow, skin folds. And those grooves may not be random. One well-known experiment found that people moved wet marbles and small wet objects faster when their fingers were wrinkled than when their fingers were smooth. The same boost did not clearly show up with dry objects, which is the suspiciously specific part. It points toward a water problem. Scientists still debate how strong this grip advantage really is, because biology loves leaving one sock missing in the laundry, but the rain tire idea fits the pattern better than, oops, soggy skin. Tiny channels could help move water out of the way, like tread on a tire, or little gutters on our fingertip road map, so the soap bar, marble, or imaginary tadpole car does not go skidding off a cliff. Your fingers are not failing in the bath, they are briefly installing tiny wet weather tires. That is the tiny stake here, and I love it. Your body can quietly change the texture of your hands for one temporary situation without asking you to approve the renovation. Then, after you dry off, the signal fades, the blood vessels return toward normal, and the wrinkles usually smooth out again. No committee meeting, no conscious command, just the same low-key automatic body logic that makes your pupils shrink in sunlight and your skin prickle when you are cold. So wrinkly fingers are not broken, over-soaked, or merely doing raisin cosplay. They are a temporary nervous system switch that reshapes the skin into ridges and grooves, possibly to make wet handling a little less slippery. The bath drains, the tiny road crew packs up the cones, loosens the drawstrings, and the mountain roads flatten back into ordinary fingertip streets. Which is such a neat little body trick. An ordinary tub moment becomes an engineering problem, solved before you even noticed there was a problem. If you have another everyday body glitch, kitchen smell, weather clue, or tiny sensation the Tidbit sketchbook should gently investigate next, leave it in the margins for us. As always, stay curious.